I'm 79 years old, and there's a phone call I should have made 32 years ago. Every single day since then, I've thought about it. Every single day I've carried the weight of words I never said. And now I can't make that call, because the person on the other end is gone. Let me tell you about pride. Real pride. Not the kind they celebrate. Not the kind that makes you stand tall. I'm talking about the kind that eats you from the inside out. The kind that makes you draw a line in the sand and refuse to cross it, even when the person you love most is standing on the other side, hand reaching out, waiting for you to just take one step forward. That's the pride that destroys lives. And I am an expert in that kind of pride. His name was Michael, my older brother. We grew up in a 2-bedroom house in Pennsylvania, sharing everything. A room, clothes that got passed down, dreams that got whispered in the dark when our parents thought we were asleep. We were inseparable, until we weren't. Until one argument, one stupid, meaningless argument, changed everything. I can still see him standing in my living room that October afternoon in 1992. He was wearing that brown leather jacket I'd always been jealous of. His face was red. My wife was in the kitchen, pretending not to listen, and Michael was asking me to apologize for something I'd said about his son. I don't even remember exactly what I said. Something cruel about his parenting. Something about how he was raising his boy wrong, letting him be too soft. It was stupid. It was mean. And worse than that, it was wrong. But when he confronted me about it, when he stood there in front of me with hurt in his eyes and asked me to just say, I was sorry, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Because in my mind, apologizing meant I was weak. It meant I was admitting defeat. So I told him to leave. And he did. That was the last real conversation we ever had. You think pride protects you. You think it's a shield. You tell yourself that you're standing your ground, that you're maintaining your dignity, that you're teaching people they can't just walk all over you. But here's what pride actually does. It builds a wall. Brick by brick, day by day, until you're standing completely alone on one side, and everyone you've ever loved is on the other side, and the wall is so high you can't even see them anymore. And by the time you realize what you've done, the wall is too thick to break through. Michael and I saw each other at family gatherings after that. Thanksgiving, Christmas, our mother's birthday. We were civil. We said hello. We passed the potatoes. But we never talked. Not really. There was always this invisible barrier between us, this thing we both knew was there, but neither of us would acknowledge. I'd see him playing with his grandkids years later, laughing, being exactly the kind of grandfather I wish I'd told him he'd become. And I'd think about walking over. I'd think about pulling him aside and just saying it. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was an idiot. And I'm sorry. But I never did it. Because days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months turned into years, and at some point, it just felt like too much time had passed. Like bringing it up would be more awkward than just leaving it alone. Like maybe we'd both just moved on and I'd be reopening an old wound for no reason. I told myself that lie for 32 years. Let me tell you about another person. Her name was Dorothy. She lived next door to us for 15 years. Sweet woman. Made the best apple pie I've ever tasted. Her husband died young, and she lived alone, and my wife would sometimes bring her dinner or help her with yard work. Dorothy and I had a falling out over a fence line. I thought she was 6 inches onto my property. She thought I was wrong. We stopped speaking for 3 years. 3 years of living 20 feet apart and pretending the other person didn't exist. And then one day, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Nothing fatal, but it scared me. Really scared me. And that night, after the doctor's appointment, after my wife held me while I cried in our bedroom, I walked outside. It was getting dark, and I saw Dorothy sitting on her porch, and something in me just broke. I walked over there. I didn't even think about it. I just walked right up to her porch, and I said, "Dorothy, I'm sorry. I've been a stubborn fool, and I'm sorry." You know what she did? She cried. She stood up and she hugged me and she cried, and she told me she'd been wanting to apologize too, but didn't know how. We sat on that porch for 2 hours that night, talking like old friends, like the 3 years had never happened. She died 4 months later, heart attack in her sleep, and I got to speak at her funeral. I got to tell everyone what a beautiful person she was. I got closure. I got peace. But I didn't do that with Michael, and I'll never understand why I could swallow my pride for Dorothy, but not for my own brother. In January of 2024, Michael had a stroke, a bad one. He was in the hospital for 8 days before he died. I got the call from his wife on a Tuesday morning. She told me he was in the ICU, that it didn't look good, that I should come, and I did. I drove 3 hours to that hospital. I walked into that sterile room with all the machines beeping and the fluorescent lights buzzing, and I saw my brother, my big brother, the one who taught me how to throw a football, the one who punched Tommy Richardson in the 8th grade for making fun of my stutter. He was lying there, tubes in his arms, breathing machine pumping, unconscious. I sat next to his bed. I held his hand, and I said everything I should have said 32 years earlier. I apologized. I told him I loved him. I told him I'd been wrong about everything. I told him he'd been a great father, a great man, and that I was sorry for wasting so much time. I said all of it, but he never heard me. He died the next morning without ever waking up. You want to know what haunts me? It's not that he died. Death comes for all of us. What haunts me is that he died not knowing. He died thinking that I still held that grudge. He died believing that his little brother thought less of him. And I can never, ever fix that. I can never take it back. There's no do-over. There's no second chance. There's just this crushing, suffocating regret that follows me everywhere I go. Listen to me. Really listen. If there is someone in your life right now that you're not speaking to because of pride, because of some argument, because of some stupid, petty thing that seemed important at the time, call them. Today. Right now. I don't care if it's been 6 months or 6 years. I don't care who was right or who was wrong. None of that matters. What matters is that you still have time. You still have the chance to fix it. And you might think you have forever, but you don't. None of us do. Here's what I wish someone had told me when I was 47 years old, standing in my living room, watching my brother walk out the door. Your pride is not worth more than your relationships. Your need to be right is not worth more than your need to be connected. Winning an argument is not worth losing a person. And time does not heal these wounds. It deepens them. I'm 79 years old now. I've lived a long life. I've seen a lot. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that the things I regret most are not the risks I took and failed at. They're not the jobs I didn't get, or the money I didn't make. The things that keep me awake at 3 in the morning are the words I didn't say, The apologies I didn't give. The phone calls I didn't make. Michael's son, my nephew. He's 52 now. We talk sometimes. He told me once that his dad used to ask about me. That even years later, Michael would wonder how I was doing, if I was happy, if I was healthy. He never stopped caring. He never stopped being my brother. I was just too proud to be his. So here's what you need to do. Write down the name of the person you need to apologize to. I don't care what they did. I don't care what you did. Write down their name. And then ask yourself this question. If they died tomorrow, would you regret not saying sorry? If the answer is yes, then you know what you have to do. Swallow your pride. Make the call. Send the text. Show up at their door. Say the words. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I miss you. That's it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be eloquent. It just has to be honest. And maybe they won't forgive you. Maybe they'll slam the door in your face. Maybe they'll hang up. But at least you'll know you tried. At least you'll know that you didn't let pride win. At least you won't be 79 years old, sitting in a quiet house, staring at a phone that will never ring with the voice you needed to hear. I keep a photo of Michael on my desk. It's from 1978, before everything fell apart. We're at a lake, both of us sunburned and grinning, holding up fish we'd caught. We look so young, so stupid, so happy. I look at that photo every morning, and every morning I say to him what I should have said when he could still hear me. I'm sorry, Mike. I love you, and I was wrong. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't be me.